Today on Gardening with Creekside, we are going to be installing landscape lighting here at the patio. I mean, finally, it's only been a couple of months. Stay tuned and join Jerry and I as we get this project done. Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny, and yes, this afternoon Jerry and I are going to be installing the landscape lighting here at the patio. We've been talking about doing this for a long time and it just keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the totem pole, but today we are getting it done. In fact, we started last night, so if you can look over my shoulder, you will see at the steps, we got some stuff going on over there. First, what we did is, and we'll go into more detail, but I just want to explain what you're looking at. Back there, you'll see on each step, there's a couple of like blocks. Underneath those blocks, those are just holding blocks. Those are actually the caps that go onto the seating wall. Those caps are holding down the landscape lighting for each step. So each step is going to have some underlighting from the step. You will see on the very bottom step, there is a gorgeous blue solid slab stone. That is what we have decided to go with for our steps. So we installed the last one, or the first one rather, last night in the pitch black dark. We were working with lights and flashlights, but we wanted to get it on to see how it looked, and it's gorgeous. So underneath each one of those steps will have some underlighting. Obviously, for safety reasons, you don't want to go up the steps blind, so we have those installed. You glue them onto the risers, and that is why we have then the stones on top of the lights, because they were glued and we needed them to dry being held down. All that to say is the step lighting part is done. So they're wired, then we'll just have to put the steps on it. Not doing that today, we're only focusing on lighting. We're going to use the exact same lights that we used underneath the steps along underneath the two seating walls. So we're going to have 2 lights on each wall, so a total of 4, and then we will have those same underlightings underneath the columns beside the seating wall. So this is just going to be a real informal. This is not going to be an exact how-to do this. This is going to be this is how Jenny and Jerry are doing it, and we're taking you along for the ride. Obviously,
gathering supplies.
He's gathering supplies, and we're just going to walk you through the whole thing, and as we're doing it, we'll explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. Is there anything that you want to say before we get started?
No, you'll see us use, we may mention it, but we'll see us use these little wire nuts. They're a little bit different than the regular.
So these are small waterproof connectors.
Yeah. And
whoop, they're falling out. But they have some sort of...
They have a waterproofing gel.
Yeah, there's a waterproofing gel in there. So when you have, and you're threading the wires together, then you cap it with this. And then last night, because they were under the steps, then I used good old electrical tape and wrapped them again just to ensure that they were sealed, because especially the ones under the steps.
Yeah, I think you just want to make sure you keep out the corrosion that could get in there, and that can mess with your your lights.
Right, because especially underneath the steps, if something happens, we're not pulling the steps up to then fix it. It'll be a little easier on the seating wall and stuff, but the steps, oh well. So we're going to do the seating walls first and then do the columns.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to wiring.
Okay.
Okay. I wanted to show you an up-close viewpoint here of what this light looks like. Here we go. And if the camera's not getting it perfect, then we'll throw up some pictures. But this piece actually comes in 3 different parts. So Jerry had to put them together. So you have the mounting plate, which is this. you actually have the lamp, the light part, which is here. And then, because these are going to be going under steps and seats, then you have the deflector shield, which is the nice pretty part, but it directs the light down instead of out. And then of course you have all your wire. So depending on the company that you buy them from, your lighting from, it may look a little bit different, but this is what we are using both underneath the steps, the seating wall, and the columns. First thing that we're going to do is just measure the whole length of each of the walls, because we're going to have somebody's feeling a little chippy today. We're going to have 2 lamps on each wall. So we're going to take the whole measurement of that wall, divide it by 3, and then we know how many feet to come in from each end and to put the lamp. So that's what we're going to do now. All right. So 19 feet 6 inches, 19 feet 6 inches divided by 3. That would be, it's gonna be a little bit more than 6 feet. So we put 2 little globbies of glue down, and then just simply lay the light right there. We have to hold it for a minute and put a block back on it.
We're going to come back.
Yes, we're coming back. But you can see that the front end is heavy on the light. This is not the final prep, people. This is just the beginning.
Yep.
So there we go. That's what it'll look like, and it just kind of disappears. Pretty simple, right? So we got the 4 underlights on the seating wall, and then what we're going to do now, I believe, is just go to the columns and get the columns done. So the columns are going to be a little trickier, simply for the fact of we've got to take these urns off the column tops and then lift up the big stone and then basically do the same thing. So that's just going to be the tricky part, is moving some heavy stuff around. And then once all these are, it takes a little bit of time for this glue to dry, and I should mention too that what we're using is a masonry glue. That is what this is for. Obviously, if you really didn't even have to use any kind of glue on these lights because they're underneath stones and the stones are holding them down. It's just a little extra added security. But once this glue dries, then they're not coming off at all. So we're gonna get the columns lit up and move these big, huge, gorgeous, unique stone urns. All right, my friends, so we got the urn moved. Wasn't as bad as we thought it was, and got the cap taken off. Again, not as heavy as we thought it was. So if you will remember back in the winter when we were constructing the seating wall and the columns, we went ahead and pre-wired these for the lights because we knew that we were going to be putting lights in the column. So as Jerry and Andrew were building the column up, I was holding the wire, and so the wire goes down the center of the column and then comes out the bottom. Therefore, we won't have any kind of wires sticking out. It will be like invisible lighting. So what Jerry's doing is just simply wiring the two together, just like we did on the seating wall, the beds. We're getting them in there, and then we'll use our electrical tape to make sure we don't have any kind of corrosion. Because just like the steps, this column is not going to be taken apart. So we want to make sure that it is nice and waterproof and corrosion proof so that we don't have any kind of issues, no shorting out of any kind of electrical lines. All right, so now, make sure that's nice and flat. Do we know where the center is?
No.
Okay, I'll hold it.
Is that 24? 20?
20.
10.
Right? More in the center.
Yeah, all in the center, right in here. That's where the whole thing is, and it's like gloss, so it's I believe it raises up above that.
So you hold it from the front. Here you go. Is that enough? I am extra. I have no idea what it looks like. All right, Emily, step away. It's probably phobia blooms. I have little plumy plumes. All right, so we got this one done, and now we're gonna move on to the other one, and then after that, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna wire them, or are we gonna put?
Yeah, we'll get everything wired. We'll show you at the box where everything goes in, little timer, show them how all that works.
Do we want to put the like the step lighting? What's it called? The on the side of the steps.
We don't have those.
We don't have those.
We can use some spotlights if you want to spotlight the corner, you know, the tree or something.
I'm just thinking while we're wiring.
Yeah, we have spotlights.
Okay. All right. On to the next column. 1, 2, 3. Whew. That wasn't always been there. Okie dokie, friends, all of the lights are now in place. What we're going to do now is connect those wires that came from the lights to the one main power source. So all of that is going to be a bunch of splicing and connecting and wrapping in the electrical tape, because all of these will feed into one main hub. So what we're going to do is just get all of these wires hooked in, like I said, to that main one line. Then we'll go to the hub and we'll explain that little hub, how it all works, because from that one hub, then we have one main line that then connects to the power source and the timer and makes the lights turn on and off. So this is just going to be the little bit of a tedious part where we're just going to have to do lots of splicing and putting wires together. So there you go. We've gotten all the wires connected, and at least on the beds, all connected and running to one main one. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add these lovely little spotlights to certain areas of the bed, the landscaping that we want to kind of highlight. So we're thinking right now that Jerry's working on the one that we're going to, what we call uplight the Rose of Sharon, the white chiffon, or the Rose of Christine, as we like to call. It's just another type of landscape lighting. It does super simple. You have these great stakes that go into the ground. There's a hole in the middle with a thread, and you can just screw these in together like so, and the wire comes down, and again, it just disappears. So once you screw it all down, then you can adjust this to any angle that you want to bring light to the area. So we know that we're going to do, like I said, that's what he's doing right now, is working on the one with the Rose of Sharon. I think we're going to do also the one with the blue chiffon Rose of Sharon, the tree form. And eventually, once we work our way around, we'll get to the forest pansy also. I will go ahead and tell you that we are racing against the setting sun today, and the clouds are coming in, so it's getting a little bit dark, and we really want to be able to get these plugged in. So we know that this is not going to be the be-all, end-all conclusion of the landscape lighting. This is at least getting us one step further to getting close, and that we can get them all plugged in, what we have so far, and then as we add different elements, we can just tie into this system. But at least we can get a head start, get somewhere moving in the right direction, get them plugged in, get the timer set so they can come on and come off every day and bring us lots of fun and pleasure and excitement and see it at night. It's exciting. You can see Jerry's behind me, and he is getting all of the wires into that central hub that I talked about. We're gonna go over there and take a little bit of a closer look so that you can see exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about a hub and all the wires coming into that. Okay, so you can see that we have all the different wires coming from all of the landscape, and it is going into this black hub. First of all, it goes through the bottom, and then Jerry is going to connect it into those little individual, what do you call those? He doesn't know what they're called.
I don't see anything specific. It's just going into one.
Going in, yeah, so if you'll, yeah, hold still. There we go. So see, it goes in, and so each of those little orange doors, I guess for lack of a better word, I am not an electrician, people, will hold one strand of lights. So see, now it's connected in. There we go. So he is going to go through and connect all of those wires into the little orange doors. Again, I know I'm being real technical here. Then once they're all connected, he will take that top and then screw it on to the base that is in the ground, and then they just kind of disappear, and they're waterproof and protected from the elements. Now obviously right now we're not going to leave all these wires exposed, but I will come back at some point and just bury them underneath the mulch. I am not going to bury them in the ground, so that way when I am planting in the future, I will know exactly where they are, and I won't put a shovel through them, and I won't put the auger through them, because there's a lot of wires running through here. We'll try to keep them in the back of the bed, but yeah, so I'll just put them underneath the mulch. That way I can find them very easily next time I am in here planting. Okay, so here we are. This is the main hub timer where all the wires are going to go into. That's a great shot of Jerry's head. There we go. All right. So all these guys are going to come in here, and he's just going to snap them in. So this is the main wire coming from the hub. So you could have multiple hubs coming in here. I mean, it's as easy as that. And then of course the timer.
One's 12 and one's common.
So he says one is a 12 volt. That's your power.
Common.
And common means what?
It's just all common ground wire.
Common ground wire. Oh, okay, so common means the ground wire, and then the volt is where you splice it for the battery, I mean for the actual.
I don't know if it's technically the ground wire. That's.
Okay, so again, folks, we're not electricians, but.
That's just where it's supposed to be.
Okay, half the wire, you know, you splice the wire. Half of it goes over to the common, half of it goes to the 12 volt. This is a dummy proof because clearly Jenny doesn't know electrical.
Timer goes right in there.
Then we have a timer that'll go in right in there. And then this just plugs in to right there.
110 outlet.
A 110 outlet that will get plugged in. Easy as peasy as that. And then right beside where Jerry has the strippers, cutters, that is the irrigation control. So where does this light bulb go?
Well, I was curious as to what kind it was.
Okay. What you needed. Okie doke, friends, everything has been wired up. All the lights are connected, all the wires are connected, it's plugged in, the timer is on, and everything. Jerry has just slid around to the corner to flip the switch to see if it comes on. So let's see if it does. Da-da-da. Ta-da! We have lights, y'all. Oh my word, it's glorious. It is beautiful. Let's see, make sure, working. Everybody seems to be working. Everything is good. Jerry, the lights underneath the forest pansy are working?
Yep.
He said yes. So everything is lit up that we have connected so far. Wow, that's exciting. So I'll show you what it looks like now, but what we're going to do too is wait for the sun to go down just a little bit more and get a little bit darker, and then that will be the dramatic, ha! I do know that we're going to put patio, what do you call those, like the lights that go in the bed, have the little lamp on them. What's that called?
Pathway lights.
Pathway lights, thank you. So we will put pathway lights going down, go down these steps and then along the pathway to the driveway to run to the front. We have to order those. We don't have those yet, so we're gonna have to order those. And then if we need to order, I don't know that we need to order anything else. I think
we'll see.
We're pretty good. We may, I was just sitting here thinking, you know, would we want to put under lighting underneath this bed? Anyway, that's the beautiful thing about this system, is that you can add pieces very easily. You just stick them where you want them and tie into the existing, either tie into the existing wiring or just run your wire to that little hub that we showed you, because there's plenty of breakers or connectors that you can connect into to add what you need to. But wow, it's been a long time coming about getting these lights in, so I cannot wait for the sun to really go down and to see how it looks. The timer that we have is an easy timer, so there's different ones that obviously will go with your system. I really like this one because it has a sensor on it, so it knows when it is light and when it's dark. So just like the ones in the front of the house, these have this exact same timer, so it senses when it goes dark, so they automatically cut on. So depending on what time of year, in the winter time, the lights cut on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. In the summertime, they may not cut on till 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. And then you can adjust it. You can set it to go 2, 4, 6, or 8 hours after dusk, or you can even set it for dusk to dawn. So if you wanted to leave them on all night long, you certainly could. So it's really nice and easy, and so it works with the seasons. Obviously, we don't need landscape lighting to turn on at 5 o'clock in the summer, and we don't want it to wait vice versa in the winter. So I like that little option of dawn to dusk and sensing when the ambient light is needed. So anyway, we will wait until tomorrow to place the urns back on here. We want the glue to set really well before, because these are so heavy, so we may have to slide, adjust, and twist them, and we certainly don't want these caps to do any twisting or moving. We want them to stay exactly where they are, because Jerry worked hard getting them centered as such. I think that's it, Jerry. Did I leave anything out?
No, I mean, just, you know, anytime you set up lighting, you wait till the nighttime to do your final adjustment.
Yes, that's a very good point. So when we were over there doing the, we put 2 lights underneath the forest pansy, and obviously there's one on each of the rows of Sharons. The best time, of course, you can put them where you think you might want them, but then come back out at night and you may have to tweak them a little bit. You know, either tweak them where they are or tweak their angle in which they're shooting up. So we left plenty of wire on that, so we don't have to worry about running out of space on those, but we will come back out again tonight when it's nice and dark and just get the whole feel for the area. But it feels good to have this project. And I say done, it's not completely done, but we're a whole lot closer than we were before. I hope you have found this, if not informational, at least entertaining. Again, y'all have been with us through this whole journey of this patio, and yet again, we're still adding, tweaking, making it just how we want it. So as always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. We so appreciate you. We appreciate your support. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.